So, guys, today we gotta talk about the California governor's race. So, as of right now, you have what was expected to happen in the first place. Javier Becerra takes the lead over Steve Hilton. Let's look into it.
California, we're still awaiting results from our June 2nd primary.
With more, let's go inside California politics with Inside California Politics host Nikki Lorenzo. Nikki, happy Friday to you. And ballots still being counted. What is your major takeaway from Tuesday's election, and what are we seeing in terms of the voting trend? Did Democrats hold their ballots until the last minute?
Sure, and Mike, happy Friday to you. Yeah, the answer is yes on that. That was my biggest takeaway from this election. That's what we were hearing leading up to this election. That's what we were hearing leading up to this. That Democrats were really freaked out in terms of the race at the top of the ballot, the governor's race after the Eric Swalwell implosion. They just didn't know who they wanted to vote for, and should they go with the top polling candidate, or should they vote with their heart of the candidate they really wanted, and would they be throwing away their vote if they did that? So the data and the returns really show that Democrats did hold onto their ballots. I have to say, with all the criticism happening around the country about California's voting process, and yes, there should be criticism, I get that. We have learned some concepts, some results that I thought we weren't going to know until the end of next week.
All right, to the race for governor specifically, Javier Becerra has officially punched his ticket to November, taking the lead this evening from Steve Hilton. With Hilton and Tom Steyer fighting for second, who do you see making it through to November? In that second slot, I understand you spoke to Hilton today. How does he feel about his chances?
He feels really good. He thinks that the momentum is on his side. When we spoke earlier this afternoon, he was still in the lead, and I said, look, we're having this conversation inside California politics. A lot can change by Sunday when this airs. But he said, no, I feel that we're in a good position. But he all along never thought there was going to be this narrative to Republicans making it through. He always thought it was going to be to Democrats. And that's why he was asking for Chad Bianco on the eve of the election to get out of the race and for Bianco to ask for his supporters to support Hilton because he didn't want to be in the situation that he's in right now with Tom Steyer, in third place. The results really showing what our last poll shows, that was sort of this like three-way contest at the top. Everything really, from what I'm reading and talking to data experts, is going to have to break Tom Steyer's way in order for him to catch up to Steve Hilton. But still, we have millions of votes out there, and we know a lot of.
I mean, yeah, that would make sense because Chad Bianco's supporters will probably turn around and start endorsing Steve Hilton, which would then turn around and help him get above Javier Becerra and Tom Steyer.
A lot of those later votes are Democrats.
So let's about vote counting and obviously, like you just mentioned, making national headlines. The president claiming fraud is going on, but Brian Goldsmith, the leading Democratic candidate for state Senate, posting on X today that our state counting is a quote national embarrassment. We need to posting on X today that our state counting is there were quote national embarrassment, and we need to
go. You got to think about it. You got to go all the way back to 2019 and the pandemic. The election laws that they in it because of the pandemic. So they implemented mail-in. They expanded mail-in voting because of the pandemic. Now that we're no longer in the pandemic anymore, they're still operating by those election laws, which is not now what that guy is saying, that you got to change these election laws because we're no longer in the pandemic. So now we can go back to same day mail-in voting. If you get if y'all that are listening get what I'm saying, same day mail-in ballot voting. If y'all kind of get what I'm saying.
From a jungle primary. Are there any calls to change out or how we vote or count votes in California?
Yeah, there is criticism. Of it, but nothing in terms of let's change the law. I will say that Governor Newsom did sign a bill into law last year that was calling for the counting process to be faster. So instead of the 30-day allotment, it's now 13 days. But there's a little bit of nuance to it. Yes, you need to count. The counties need to count by 13 days. But if a county says, look, we're understaffed or we need more time, they can ask the Secretary of State's office for more time. Democrats will push back and say, look, we have this process. We want voters to be engaged. There's a lot of people who live in this state. It's the most populous state in the country. So we can't really compare ourselves to other states that do it faster. But I want to share a quote from a very great Republican strategist who I talk to in Sacramento all the time, Matt Rexroth. He's very well respected. And he said, look, stupid is not the same as corrupt in terms of how we do things in our election process here in the state of California. So you can think it's stupid, but it doesn't mean it's corrupt.
Well, the question is, can they move the ball down the field? Let's look down ballot. Were there any surprising results this week in your eyes?
Yeah, a couple of interesting congressional races. I will say there was one that was up here in Northern California. That was the Kevin Kiley district.
Honestly, what would make it corrupt
can they move the ball down the field?
Let's
look down ballot. Were there any surprising results this week in your eyes? Let's look down ballot.
Yeah, a couple of interesting congressional races. I will say there was one that we were watching up here. Yeah, a couple of interesting congressional races. I will say there was one that we were watching district who was a Republican in Northern California. That was the Kevin Kiley district, who was a Republican who turned in.
To turn around and what will make it corrupt is now to support Nithya Raman, who is supposed to be in third place and was embarrassingly super behind. I would say that would look like it would most likely be corrupt is because, let's say, for instance, the mail-in ballots come in and they lean most likely Democrat. Those votes should go to Karen Bass, the incoming mayor of Los Angeles. If they turn around and they proportionally go to Nithya Raman and disproportionately take out Spencer Pratt, that is probably cheating and corruption going on. Then that's when you can turn around and probably say there's cheating and corruption going on. then you could probably turn around and say there's cheating and corruption going on. Because should not even be.
He was his obviously district got redrawn. He was in 3, now
should
he's
not
in 6,
even be able to
he's
even
CA 6 right now. So
garner a at all, for the simple fact that Spencer Pratt is trailing behind Karen Bass in the first place, which means a lot of these said votes should be going to Karen Bass. But if it turns around and comes out that, oh, Spencer Pratt, who was trailing behind Karen Bass, didn't get any of the votes at all out of those ballots, and Nithya Raman did, then that's what I'll come to terms and say, okay, they was cheating. Because how come that those votes ended up going to Nithya Raman and not the incumbent mayor, which is Karen Bass? Now, if they go to Karen Bass and they lean heavily towards Karen Bass, then that's understandable, because she has more influence. She has more political influence. She has more political influence and fundraising behind her, for the simple fact that she's the incumbent mayor, for the simple fact that she's the sitting mayor of Los Angeles. So Nithya Raman should not even be getting any votes at all based off of polling, based off of the polls. Nithya Raman shouldn't even be able to get any votes, to be honest with you, in the first place. But let's continue.
leading up to just about an hour ago, Kevin Kiley was in the lead, and Mark Stansfield, the Republican, was in second place. Mark Stansfield doesn't have a website. He doesn't even have an official campaign photo. We talked to him this week. He didn't even campaign. So leading up to about an hour ago, he was in the second place spot. But again, those late ballots starting to be counted, and it looks like this is going to be an independent versus a Democrat. So we'll see how an independent does in a congressional race in California. That's not something that we see very often. Another race I was watching was the seat to replace Nancy Pelosi. This one was sort of getting ugly in the end. I believe that's District 11. And Scott Wiener, the state lawmaker, state senator, very well known, prolific lawmaker, legislator here in Sacramento. Him running away with it. Connie Chan, county supervisor, she was backed by Pelosi late. And then you see Sai Chakrabarty. He is Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez's former chief of staff, spent millions of dollars, more progressive. He didn't do well. So these numbers show that Nancy Pelosi's endorsement still carries a lot of weight in San Francisco. Also, the race for lieutenant governor, everything was focused on the race for governor. But this is interesting too, because we didn't see Governor Newsom endorse in the governor's race in the primary, but he did endorse in this race. His candidate was Josh Friday. As we see right now, Fiona Ma, Democrat, already advancing. We're still waiting to see who's going to take that number 2 spot. Is it going to be Gloria Romero, the Republican, former Democrat? But she's on track right now to advance.
Okay, let's talk quickly about the race for LA Mayor. Spencer Pratt continues to maintain a lead over Councilwoman Nithya Raman, but the prediction markets now say that there's a nearly 80% chance that the final matchup is Karen Bass versus Raman. What's your reaction to?
And there you go. There you go, right there. That's exactly what I said. That if Nithya Raman get any of the votes after polling behind Spencer Pratt, these people are cheating. That's what's going on. They cheating the votes. And they're cheating. Because how much you want to bet all of those votes that I'm pretty sure that she is said to get, how much you want to bet a lot of those votes are supposed to go to Karen Bass? And the reason why I'm saying they're supposed to go to Karen Bass is because Karen, once again, I'm gonna say it again. Karen Bass is the sitting mayor of Los Angeles. So she has everybody behind her. She has the political influence. She has the Union of California. She has the lobbyist groups of California behind her. In the first place, just off rip to her being the sitting mayor of Los Angeles. But if you telling me somebody who, like Nithya Raman, who's polling behind Spencer Pratt, now has an 80% chance to turn around and push him out of the primary, yeah, I'm going to turn around and I'm going to question that. I'm going to turn around and I'm going to question that. But now, let me turn around and reveal why is it that this election results is taking so long to come in. According to Cali Matters, the election delay is due in part two ways. California has endeavored to make it easier to vote since the COVID-19 pandemic. Every registered voter gets a mail-in ballot, and ballots are valid as long as they are postmarked by election day and arrive at county election offices within 7 days of the election. California is one of the 8 states that allow all elections to be conducted by mail, with varying grace periods for ballots that are postmarked by election day. Those grace periods are at risk, with the U.S. Supreme Court currently weighing a change that will require ballots to arrive by election day. That's why they are going through this right now, because they are still operating as if they lived in the COVID-19 pandemic era.
This race developing in this way.
I have to say, a lot of national media has been focused on the LA race for mayor because of Spencer Pratt, and they thought he had it. And look, the late vote again skews younger, more progressive. Obviously, there were a lot of folks who were focused on this race, and it's showing that the numbers are showing that they're breaking for Raman, that young vote, that more progressive vote is breaking in her favor. I will say, it looks like it's going to be really tight. I did call a couple of consultants up here in Sacramento.
Yeah, probably because this is a bunch of goofy young liberals who don't know a damn thing at all, that are probably voting for this crap that she's advocating for. And I can guess who liberals are, and I bet you they are young liberal white women that is basically supporting this stuff. Young liberal-minded white women. How much you want to bet? That is the very group that is probably voting for Karen Bass and Nithya Raman over Spencer Pratt. How much you want to bet? And we already know what comes with black liberal voters. Oh, they're just gonna vote Karen Bass because she black. And for those who are voting for Nithya Raman, I bet you it's a bunch of liberal white women that's doing it. Because why not? We hate Democrat when it comes to voting not against our own best interests.
Me it's going to be Nithya. The
with the
Republicans
white
told me, I'm
man
telling
to
you,
where we'll turn around and
it's going to
vote
be Spencer, but like a
for our
really,
own
really
best
margin. It's going to come down.
interest.
Let's before we go talk away from inside California politics and go to inside Alaska politics. Something
all
very
over the
strange
damn
happening
place.
in
So I
the
got to
Senate.
dive
All
into,
because
Alaska.
you
Okay, so I
got
got
an
to dive
issue
into what I was
with
gonna
your
do.
fellow white
Into
man.
Alaska politics, which is something I never thought I was going to do. So the
Is
current
Senator
incumbent, Dan Sullivan,
Right.
he is Senator Dan Sullivan,
facing
a number of challengers. 15, and Alaska, the population is less than 1 million people, 737,000 around there. There's another Dan Sullivan on the ballot who was also a Republican.
So the senator who you see on your screen right now is accusing his top Democratic opponent of convincing this guy to get in the race and is threatening a lawsuit. So I will tell you guys too, if people criticize California politics for a jungle primary, here's what happens in Alaska. The top four vote getters advance. They do ranked choice voting.
And two with the same name,
So
maybe.
no one can criticize California anymore.
Yeah. All right.
Beyond reproach.
Thank you so much. Inside California Politics is Sunday at 5:30. Good to see you. Stay right here. Nikki Lorenzo, we thank you.
All right, back in a moment.
Yeah, do not be surprised. I'm telling you right now. I know exactly who's voting for Nithya Raman. And I bet you it's a bunch of young white liberal women who hate the white so much to the point where they would turn around and vote against their own best interests. They would sit there and vote for homeless encampments all over the damn place, crime to basically skyrocket in their doggone cities, all because they hate the white man. All because they hate the white man. Do not be surprised that is who is most likely supporting Nithya Raman. Nithya Raman. And I guarantee you, y'all gonna come back to this doggone channel and y'all gonna be like, Lawrence, you was absolutely right. Because the majority of the people that I voted for Nithya Raman, I bet you 100% it's a bunch of young liberal white women that don't know no better, that is voting for this chick all because Spencer Pratt is a white man and they hate the white man and they so against racism and white supremacy to the point where they are going to turn around and vote against their own best interests, which is crime skyrocket in the city, homeless encampments all over the damn place, because that's literally what this woman is advocating for. Literally. But that's all I got for you guys today. Like, comment, and subscribe at Black Diamond 21. Peace.